Hi, everybody. Once again, my name is Preethy Padmanabhan. I am the host of 10x Growth Strategies podcast. And in my day job, I'm a chief marketing officer for Emergent Ventures Fund. And I'm also a fractional CMO with many startups. I'll pass on the mic to Kapil to introduce himself.
Thank you. My name is Kapil Chhabra. I'm the co-founder and chief product officer of WisdomAI. And we'll be talking a little bit more about WisdomAI later. That's on the work side. On the personal side, I'm a dad of 2 kids, and I love spending time with them.
My name is Wen, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Genspark.ai. We build AI agents for knowledge workers. Before Genspark, I built and sold another company. Excited to be here and learn from everybody and share ideas.
Great, thanks. Hi everyone, I'm Leila Golchehreh. I'm one of the founders of Relaynce AI. We have an AI governance, privacy, and security platform. Prior to becoming a founder, I was working actually at Allen & Overy, funny enough. It was one of my first jobs as a lawyer. Since then, I've been advising a variety of different technology companies from Workday to Adaptive Insights. I was the first cybersecurity and privacy lawyer for the autonomous vehicle at General Motors Cruise, so it felt a little bit like the privacy Super Bowl. And I've advised hundreds of clients from healthcare to fintech, IoT, and otherwise. Very excited to be here. Thank you so much, Preethy.
Thank you, Leila. As you can see, we have a variety of experience on this panel here and different roles also as co-founders. So let's start with Leila on the other end. Tell us, why did you start your company?
I needed this product. That's really the shortest answer. And I think as I talk with founders and have met so many wonderful founders here this evening, I see that some of the most successful ones are ones that personally experience the problem. So what was my problem? I was often working as a chief privacy and AI governance officer for companies throughout the technology industry. And my role was to build data maps, understand who was accessing our data, what was being done with our data, where the risks were. And what I frequently found was that my processes were incredibly manual. I thought the work, I didn't go to law school and study so hard and get all this career experience to sit in rooms to interview people, fill out forms, and fill out surveys. And so if there's one piece of advice I have as we are going through this AI renaissance, it's to think about some of the things that might be considered sort of the boring, ugly things that nobody really wants to do, so that we can spend our time as founders and as humanity focused on more of the strategic initiatives instead of administrative overhead.
Fantastic, Leila. What a great reason to start a company, solve their own problem. Now I'm going to Wen. When I first met Wen and his co-founder, I was like literally, so excited because they got to 36 million ARR in 45 days. He'll talk more about it. I don't want to steal his thunder, but tell us about your inception journey.
Thank you, Preethy. Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with more with what Leila just said. We believe in the human potential. So many people out there say that, AI is here and then knowledge workers are going to be wiped out. Not the case at all. So we've all seen how Cursor helped, millions of software developers to really elevate their productivity. And what we do at Genspark is to unleash the potential for all the knowledge workers, just like myself, just like a lot of us here. The way we look at the world is with AI, we skip 50, 70, 80, 90% of the grunt work, and we all get a promotion. Essentially, I was telling DBJ that, the other day I saw this X post by Kyle Vogue, Cruise founder. He said, with AI, before AI, we're all actors. With AI, we're all directors. That's exactly how we see the world. And to what Preethy just shared with everybody, we launched our super agent suite back in April. And within 45 days, we amassed like 2 million users, and we had $36 million of ARR. Wildfire. It was insane. And I'm still in awe of myself. So, yeah.
That's a good problem to have. So, Kapil, please go ahead and tell us your inception story and journey.
Yeah. I'll kind of start by asking a question. How many of you have heard about business intelligence products like Tableau and Power BI? Pretty much everybody. The problem that exists in those products, they are business intelligence, but they have never been built for business users. They were built for data analysts so they can serve the business users with dashboards and spreadsheets and so on. So that was a gap that we found. Interestingly, on the other side, when we were kind of figuring out what to build and so on, there was this gap. There were so many other gaps, and there are some potential founders here in the audience as well. So one thing that we were doing from our kind of previous company, I used to work at Rubrik, and when this bug started again of start another company, the question really became, what is the problem worth solving? So this was one problem we were facing ourselves. But at the same time, we looked at what is our IT spend for the last 3 years. We took all of those years, we sorted it in descending order. The top spend we had was on this modern data stack. We were spending a lot of money on Snowflake and Tableau and all of those things, and yet this problem existed. So that was kind of the genesis of, here's the problem we're solving. Let's go ahead and solve it, and it was an exciting thing for us to do.
Yeah, it's so surprising, right? Some of the problems we think have been solved for so long are still not solved in a beautiful way, and I'm glad you're able to do that. There's so many AI products in the market. Literally, there's, especially now with vibe coding and stuff, people are launching products all the time. I'd love to hear from Wen and Leila, how do you go from a prototype to a product that enterprises love to adopt? Wen, would you maybe like to get started?
Sure. Great question, Preethy. So this is what's happening to us right now, which is a great problem to have, I'd say. Since the launch of the Super Agent Suite, many users just we got the traction essentially purely organically through product-led growth. And then all of a sudden, we're getting inbound interest through our supporting channel. Oil gas company in Colombia, PE firm in Japan, investment bank in London, government agency from Dubai. They're all like, okay, your tool is amazing. How do we buy it at scale for our organization? And we're like, this is awesome, just sign up. They were like, no, we want group billing, we want group admin, we want SOC 2, we want all the amazing stuff that enterprises want. And we're like, okay, now we gotta make all of these amazing things happen. So as we speak, we're publishing our updated enterprise data security and privacy policy. We're working with great partners like, for example, Vanda to get our SOC 2 in place. And we're working with many other amazing partners to essentially working around the clock to deliver these enterprise level features and product functionalities.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're working at like breakneck speed to do all that amazing work there. Leila, tell us about how you do it in your company.
Absolutely. So we got started before we actually had a product. We were already pitching to VCs. We were already making sure that the problem was really validated. And then I would summarize generally how we went from prototype to AI by people, of course, one of the most essential ingredients to building an AI company, processes, playbooks, and technology. With this sort of 4-part solution, this is exactly how you can make sure that you're not just building a prototype that's going to break in a customer's environment. Although I can tell you during our first deployment, we were all sort of holding our breath. We practiced it, we had tested it in all kinds of environments. And then when it's the go live date and you suddenly sign your first enterprise customer, you're like, God, I hope this thing works. Fortunately, it did. And we've just had incredible growth. We've seen Fortune 100 companies all using Relaynce AI in order to manage their privacy, security, and AI governance programs.
I love how you started with people, right? Because that's behind everything that you do. And even being AI company, we start with people. Fantastic. So the topic for today, as you all know, it's the future of AI native versus AI enabled. So let's ask the panel here. Kapil, let's start with you. What does AI native mean to you? And how does that differ from a product or architecture or go-to-market from AI enabled?
That's a deep question. I think I briefly explained on the problem statement that we are trying to solve here. Now, just to elaborate on that a little bit more, the reason why those business intelligence tools were not available or built for the business users was primarily because there was no modality that existed prior to generative AI that would make sense for them. these business users have another job to do. They're not data analysts. They're not there to write SQL code or build out even with the drag and drop charts and so on to do their day-to-day job. Now, because that wasn't the case, and there was no modality that existed, we had to go ahead and think about what that would mean for the business users, so it does not come in their day-to-day job, but helps them. So they do not have to learn anything new. And what Gen AI gives us, as kind of being AI native, is that ability to just be interactive with that natural language and really understand the problem. Now, on the surface, that sounds very simple. But behind the scenes, all of that architecture has to be built in a way that these business users, who we do not want them to learn anything new, are able to use it. For that, we're not really thinking about building new tools. We're thinking about building these agents or analysts. So this is like a persona that we're building. And that requires a completely different mindset, a completely different architectural stack, and a completely different user interface as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very strongly that right now the user interface in all of these situations is like a chatbot. That will change as well. And one easy way to kind of distinguish between an AI native and a non-AI native is that non-AI native have those chatbots on the right-hand side at the bottom because there is a product that exists. And AI first have like a chatbot in the middle of the screen. That's kind of a crude way right now, but I think that is going to evolve and there will be better modalities going forward.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. Thank you. Wen, would you like to add to that?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. So I couldn't agree more with what you just said as well. Essentially, so to Kapil's point, the way we look at this is really that what AI native is before AI, this is just impossible, right? So our product wouldn't exist if there is no emerging of the large language models. So we use all these state-of-the-art models, OpenAI models for reasoning, cloud models for coding, Google models for creative stuff, and we have a bunch of budget models as well, open source models. So they're all good at different things, but for us to do what we are doing today, without these breakthroughs, it's impossible. Now, reflecting onto what it really means when it comes to the results or how it impacts users, it really is also to the extent that it's kind of a disruptive effect. What I mean by that is, for example, before our product, before Genspark.ai, the way I built a pitch deck is I just get into Google Slides and start thinking about the subject line, lay it out, and then start filling in information from my head. Today, the way I do it is I basically prompt Genspark.ai. I wanted to build a pitch deck, Sequoia BP style, dark background, clean design, minimum text. Go, 12 pages, no more, no less. And boom, it just gets the story right. Our AI writes in HTML to build the slide deck. Then I can do the advanced editing if I wanted to tweak here or there, or I just tell the AI, I like this, I don't like that. This is impossible before. And this is how we see the future of the work. In the future, we believe, essentially, this is what I do today. I was just telling David AJ as well that today, I don't do work first. I throw it at the AI first. Whatever it is, I throw it at the AI, see what happens, and then I get onto it. Client meetings. I'll just ask the AI to research the client for me before the meeting, read my emails, research online, tell me how to prepare this meeting, give me the attack plan. Boom, done. It's like you have a Goldman Sachs associate in your pocket. That's a feeling. So yeah,
that's
fantastic.
Amazing. So for Leila, since your startup Reliance is a lot on governance, compliance, I have a question on that for you. How do you balance innovation and speed with governance, compliance, ethical AI, all those things, especially for enterprise customers?
Great question, and we are seeing, as Wen has shared, that AI is just moving at the speed of light. So how do we actually embed responsible AI into what it is that we build? not just because it's for compliance or because it's the law, but because this stuff actually matters. It matters to your customers. If you're in B2C, it definitely matters, as to the earlier question, Preethy, around selling to enterprise customers. They're going to ask you, do you have all the right exhibits in place for your agreement? Do you have a privacy, data governance, and cybersecurity program? We even mentioned the SOC 2 Type 2.
Yeah.
So doing this after the fact is exceedingly difficult. I know that because I've had to do it for various clients over the years. If you do not start building AI governance, privacy, and security by design into the way that your technology is operating from the very beginning, then at the end, you're going to have to do it, and it's going to be a huge headache, especially when building large, really fast, large-scale companies. Doing this after the fact is going to cost you significantly, not only in just from a costing general money perspective, but actually from a people perspective. So our focus at Relaynce AI is to really embed at the code level. So we actually embed within the CI/CD processes that engineers are already carrying out. We will scan source code by basically building a secure Docker container so that each and every time engineers are pushing new code into production, amazing folks like Wen and his team are building new AI models, Kapil and his team are building new models. What we're doing is actually scanning the global source code. We will map that and understand how data is being processed, who's accessing it, what's being done to it. So we have that continuous monitoring and observability of what's going on there. So what's so important is to think about, as you are building this amazing new AI technology, is how do we trust it, how do we govern it, and how do we make sure that the right actors are actually the ones that are getting access to any of our information within our own environment.
Amazing. I think I completely agree with you. Doing it up front is great, but then looks like your way to make sure the customers get it right even later. Kapil, how do you go about this?
I'd extend that thought a little bit more on doing it up front. Now, in our case, we knew that we'd be working with the company's crown jewel, their data. And now in this world of AI, data is more important than anything else. So that like starting from scratch meant that our design choices, architectural choices were governed by that fact, which essentially meant that within an organization, if we want to make a ubiquitous agent that is able to answer questions for business users, not every business user is equal. Not everybody has the same level of access to that internal company data. Now, to be able to do that, if we made an architectural choice that let's take the company's data and train an AI model based on that, then we would have embarked on a pretty extensive science research project to figure out how do we then build governance on that AI model. That's an unsolved problem. So
We solve it. Just saying.
All right, no longer an unsolved problem. So what that means for us is what we did instead, without knowing what Relaynce did at the time. We went ahead and made a different architectural choice, where this governance has to be part of kind of the get-go, and we can apply those very granular rules on who gets access to what data within the organization. And that is controllable, not probabilistic, how AI would provide it, but very deterministic, because there cannot be a lapse in that. So that makes those architectural choices kind of from thinking about it from the get-go.
I love it. I love when the founders all get technical and down to the roots. And it looks like they're selling to each other out here, right? You can see that, right? Always reselling. Fantastic. So now we can ask the hard questions. So tell us about a customer story where you help them deploy. And if you can share some hairy stories, we'd love that too, but we'll leave it to you. But tell us some stories where you deployed, what were some of the results? Maybe we'll start with Wen.
Sure, absolutely. So actually, just to follow on what we were just discussing, this is also, I can't name the name, but this is also a true story of a client. So this client is in the real estate world. They have major presence in many states, Texas, up in New York, commercial, residential, and essentially their team, individuals on their team tried our product and their CFO just loves it. And he made this point to me. Actually, we talked today. He said, "Look, when back in the software age, the stuff is deterministic. Okay, compliance was important enough, so everybody got to get through the SOC 2 Type 2 whatnot to essentially sign contract with us. Now in the AI age, it's more important. Why? Because the liability or the accountability is gonna be on a human's head. You can't blame AI if something goes wrong. So you better get these things right before we can do anything. So that's why actually I had a crash course on compliance and security in the past 2 weeks just to get my learning going to yeah.
Did you ask your tool, Genspark, can you give me a
I asked Leila. I rely on the humans on this. Yeah.
You want to put it, Leila?
Absolutely. So generally about
A customer, example, how you help them deploy to be
customer stories
successful.
broadly.
Yes.
We've had quite a few. So we had a couple of customers that recently had massive security incidents, ransomware type situations where effectively all of their information was exposed. They really didn't know what third-party actors were even in their environment. So they deployed Relaynce after this attack, and we were able to showcase a variety of different third parties that were accessing their systems within their environment that no one even knew about. So that was a really big success story, because what our algorithm says is if third party, then must be approved, and if approved, we check that against their contract repository, and then that way we can spit out an understanding of exactly where the risks lie across the board. So that's one example. The other one, actually, I'm going to go back to like early days. We're 6 years old now. We raised money from a variety of VC firms here in Silicon Valley. We closed our Series B, including with Microsoft and Tomvest. So we're a little bit kind of later stage, but I do remember our first deployment. Is this going to work? And to surprise a customer and delight them on the very first call, to show them things that they never thought was possible, because what was usually taking them 6 months to build, we just did in 3 hours, was entirely game-changing and probably one of the most inspirational moments for me as a founder.
That's phenomenal. Wow. What an efficiency with the customer. Kapil, any stories from your end?
Yeah, I'll talk about one interesting. So I was actually doing a whiteboard with this company this afternoon itself to understand the impact. So this is Cisco Systems, and within their procurement finance team, they have a $8 billion yearly spend on vendors. They buy that much software, and these are 20,000 vendors that they work with. This is a procurement finance team of 200 people. Okay, so I'm throwing in a lot of numbers. I work at a numbers company, so bear with me on that. But 200 people working on managing this $8 billion spend yearly. Now, the way things were working for them was that when a new invoice or an order form comes in from a new vendor, they had very little idea about what the overall spend has been with them, which departments are using that, and so on. So they had been on this journey of collecting all of that data, and they had set up Snowflake and things like that. But those ad hoc questions about a new invoice has come in, and there is no way for me to know how much have we spent, and they have to look back on the contracts and so on. So now with Wisdom, what they're able to do is not just look at the spend, but they've also connected the data of their customers within the same we call it a domain. So now, let's say a new company, Accenture, comes in and has a new invoice for them. They're not just able to figure out what the spend was, but also able to figure out how much are they spending on Accenture. So it's two ways that they're able to figure out. So when somebody is negotiating with them, they have a lot more information. They did a little bit math on that and figured out that within the first month, these 200 people were able to save 2,800 hours of work, and there's immeasurable impact on how much they were able to negotiate based on this. So that's kind of the revolution that's about to happen.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all these real life examples. Audience, you might want to keep your questions ready. I'm going to ask one or last question, moderate it, and then we go to the audience questions. So how many entrepreneurs here in this audience? Okay, so looks like at least maybe 50%. So we can take from each of you, maybe start with you, Leila. What's one advice you'd give to the entrepreneurs based on your journey?
Just one piece of advice for me. Pick fantastic founding team members. I think really understanding who you are working with, not just on the level of do they have the right skill set, but are they trustworthy? Are they people that at 2 a.m. when you're debugging some glitch that you were not expecting, that they're the person that you're going to want to be partnering with? At the end of the day, it not only needs to be an A player who you respect and look up to, but it also needs to be someone who has your back, who you know that you're going to be able to collaborate with, who's actually going to be a friend. My husband is here, by the way, but I probably spend more time with my executive team these days right now than him, although he is here tonight, so that's good. But I think finding that balance, making sure you have the right people, like I said, people, process, playbook, and technology, and really understanding, and I think now there is an AI boom taking place, of course, but we also need to be really cognizant of spending like it's your own money. Think about if you are really building the company that you would put your own $10 into.
Right.
Yeah. First off, yes, absolutely. People first. That's the foundation. So for me, I would just say, as founders, we're all extremely busy. There's so millions of things going through our mind every minute.
I think especially you, Wen.
Too much energy. I can't contain it. So because of that, how to strategically use our time and energy is important.
Yes.
Now, one big part of that is to minimize the things that we really don't have to apply ourselves onto. And with that, I'd say don't test AI, use AI, really make it work for you. I've been doing that, and it's like, it's awesome. Just use it to do real work. Don't test it.
Okay.
These are great points. One thing I'd add is similar to kind of what Leila was also alluding towards, is that when we are starting to think about a new company or a new idea, we always think about product, but that's just one part of the equation. We have to think about the people and the processes as well, at the very least. But it's not just the product that a company adopts. When they adopt a product, there are people who are going to be working with it, and they have to change some processes as well. So all of that really needs to be thought through. Otherwise, you can have like the best product in the world, but if there are no processes that can back it up and then no people adopting it, good luck with kind of that shelfware.
Can I add one more that I don't think is talked about enough?
Sure.
Is in the same way we need to diligence our co-founders, please diligence your VCs. Somehow I have seen so many founders not ask the right questions and do the right research, or only look to the references that are provided. Make sure that you are looking broader, make sure that you're doing that deep research, because once you pick your VC, it is like a long-term commitment. This is not in a marriage you can divorce, not in a VC relationship. It's you are stuck with these people for the rest of your founder journey. So choose very wisely.
Thank you. Any audience questions? You want to come here?
Hi, my question is for Leila. With the advent of AI native, the entrepreneurship is changing. In fact, founders are building products pre-seed even before getting into this Mac. Now the founders have to put in some governance and other things, I agree. So how do you work with pre-seed companies who don't even have any money to pay you?
Well, the product is not free, that's true, but we will work with early stage companies and find a path forward, absolutely. I mean, I didn't get into building Relaynce AI because it was just about the money. I also really actually think privacy is one of the most important issues of our lifetime, probably next to climate change. Whether or not we're protecting people's data and we have safety embedded into the way we think about products is so important. So even if you're a startup, please contact me. I'm on LinkedIn and I'm happy to work with you and have a discussion around how we might help. It might not be free because we still have hosting costs, for example, but we can definitely chat, absolutely.
10x growth discount.
There you go. Code is Preethy.
Love it. Yes.
Hi, thanks, great energy, thank you all so much. Just for Kapil, and then as you're thinking about this with enterprise, so you're creating so much value because you're enabling all these incredible use cases that are gonna create so much value. So how are you going about pricing?
Experimentation. That's the one word. So we started off thinking that completely outcome-based pricing is going to be the best thing. We were very excited on the whiteboard. It did not work. We were not able to calculate the value of an outcome. Then we decided, okay, let's fall back to something better. And the next better thing we came up with was usage-based pricing, and completely usage-based pricing. Sounds great on paper because how much are people asking questions, we're answering, we should be able to pay that. But there is so much unpredictability with that CFOs don't like it. So for us, what's working right now is the traditional old per seat based licensing model. That is what's working right now. So we've been experimenting. I don't think that's like the end all be all for this. There will be more evolution that will continue to happen. This thing is working, so we're sticking with it for now.
Fantastic. Last two questions. Yes, Harish, go ahead. We need to take.
Quick one, and thank you all for all the insights. It's great. I have a question for you, Kapil, since you alluded to, privacy getting embedded right at the get-go, especially if you can do it while you're building, whether it's an infrastructure or anywhere else. To that aspect, not on the privacy line, but more along the lines of the algorithms that are being used in WisdomAI. By the way, I work with Oracle, and one of the things that we are building is also NLP to do a lot of querying towards audience segmentation. My question is, with companies like Oracle or any other database first company, they are building AI that is built into the databases itself, that could enable people to actually use NLP to do what they want directly, not even get to SQL. Like literally, for us, it's marketers who are non-tech, and we have that persona, and we do NLP, or we call it NLS, natural language segmentation, to enable them to build segments. So how do you see compete at WisdomAI when you're doing business intelligence or intelligent, educated, upfront data gathering versus these companies bringing it up?
Yeah. Great question. So just for everybody who were not able to hear, the question is that database companies themselves are building natural language access to their products. How does a company like WisdomAI compete with something like that? And these are behemoths like Oracle. Excellent question. We get that a lot as well. There are a few things the way we think about it. Every product, and we were talking about AI native versus not, every product out there has had some graphical user interface. In case of Oracle, it's the structured query language interface. And everybody is elevating that interface to now a chat user interface as well. Right? So we know that evolution is going to happen. Everybody is going to go do that. However, the layer on top, not all data is sitting in Oracle, for example. How do you synthesize the data? Some of that is sitting in Oracle, some is sitting in AWS S3. You still need a layer on top of it for your company's overall intelligence. If it's a point use case, and these are the data analysts who are using it, their life is becoming easy with what you're building, which is, there was an SQL, now they don't have to write it. It's like cursor for, or like a chat interface for writing SQL. That's better for them. However, if they really need the intelligence which is spread across all of the company's data, then those point solutions are not going to work.
Very cool, thank you.
One last question. Yes, you can project.
Thanks so much. So actually, we are a kind of like a traditional AI, it's machine learning and recommendation system based e-commerce platform for the life science industries. So we're building the AI agents, for our platform. So we have a complete system of clients and suppliers, vendors, and third-party partners. So my question is looks like after your presentation, I feel like we can relax and just to deploy your system into our web application. So we don't need to do anything else. So my question is, what do you think the pros and cons that we deploy your applications? Because our clients and our suppliers and our partners, they all need a marketing, sales, operation, all kind of agents. So what do you think the pros and cons that we use your services, or we do everything from scratch, right? So, thank you so much.
Let me start, and you should jump in. Don't do it. I'm right here. Reach out. I'll sell you my product happily. But here's the thing, right? It's the conundrum of build versus buy. There's no credible product out there. Your customers are asking for it. You would go ahead and start to build it, right? But when there are credible products out there, you would start to think about integrating. Like in the parallel in our universe with these dashboards has been that every product out there has built some kind of dashboards, and there has been this thing of embedding a dashboard from a Looker or Click or products like that, so you don't have to build it yourself. Now, none of those products were able to upgrade themselves to also include chat, which the customers are asking for. So companies like us are this AI native and this interaction first companies. So we have the same embedded mode, for example, where you can just take it, plug it with your data, and offer that service to your customers.
All right. So we want to add something? Yes.
All good.
Okay. We'll just wrap up this panel with one last, takeaway. Anything else that you think we didn't say? Each person can share one final piece of advice. Let me start with you, Wen.
I thought we did this already. I'd say just throw your tasks at AI. Genspark.ai. I'll send you 1,000 free credits. Pay me.
I already used it. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Leila? Yes.
Don't sleepwalk through all the excitement around AI. This is an opportunity to truly build generational companies with generational wealth. I think that this is something that we haven't seen in our lifetime. There are opportunities here that we might not have even considered through this discussion today. Think about the use cases, even maybe what might be considered the boring ones. Sometimes those are the most exciting in the end when you're actually building.
I echo that. It's a very exciting time to be building. Half of you are builders. The other half who are not founders here. I'd say experiment with AI. There's so much skepticism on what would be kind of the downsides of it, but there are upsides. Just embrace the risks, understand what the risks are, figure out a way to mitigate. But go ahead, give it a try.
As they say, there's either founders or future founders, right? Yeah. So let's give a big round of applause to the panel here. Thank you so much. Yeah.